Welcome to Thyroid and Autoimmune Revival. I'm Naomi Suzanne from Naomi's Home Health, and I'm a holistic health coach who specializes in thyroid and autoimmune healing using natural health solutions. So, welcome to our self love episode. This is probably going to trigger a lot of people. I know it probably would have triggered me a few years ago, but it is something that I struggled with for a very long time. And I never put it down to being part of our health or well being. I didn't even realize that I suffered with low self esteem or low self love, self worth, all of those things. It's not something that you look at very easily, and it's not something that you can do to look within yourself very easily. So it's a very, very powerful yet triggering topic, as I said. So, what does it have to do with healing a serious health condition? It has absolutely everything to do with healing a thyroid or autoimmune disease. It's a positive trait. It's something that a lot of us lack, and you can see in how you react and respond to people and your environment whether or not that you are low on the self-love scale. So self-love means that you have an appreciation, an affinity, and a positive regard for yourself. It's not, you being over the top, loving yourself like people say, oh, God, you love yourself because you think you're beautiful and anything like that. And there's nothing wrong with thinking you're beautiful, absolutely nothing. But it's how you come across that makes all the difference, how you come across to others. Sometimes other people struggle with other people's positive self-esteem or self-love because they have low self-esteem themselves. So it's not always your problem that other people struggle to see what it is in themselves. So it mirrors and aligns with self-esteem and self-compassion. It means having a good understanding of both your strengths and your weaknesses. So I always talk about healing as looking within yourself. This is the topic where you are going to really look within yourself. You're going to look at all aspects and areas of you and only you. So it doesn't mean that you hold yourself to a high standard. It's not striving for perfection. It's actually the opposite. It helps us take action and motivates us to make changes and take on new opportunities. So self-love is different to self-care. Having, beautiful baths with candles and massages is really important, but that's not the only way that we can show ourselves some love. Self-care is a way of expressing love for yourself, but it's not necessarily how you build it. You can have all the hot baths, massages that you like, but it doesn't mean that you're building self-love. It's one good step towards it because you're taking time for yourself, but that's not going to get you there. It's about, like I said, looking at all areas of yourself. Self-love is a skill or a characteristic that you can develop. It's like a muscle. If you practice it and practice it, you can develop it and you can grow that. It's not something that you have to be stuck with forever. So when you develop a strong sense of self-love, you understand your own value and you treat yourself in a loving way. So this is why it's so important to your healing, because you're not going to heal if you don't treat yourself in a loving way, because you're not going to go all out and start doing things that are going to make changes in your life, that are going to improve your life, because you don't care about yourself enough to do those things for yourself, because you're probably going to put others first. When you put others first, it's because you lack that self-love. The reason that you put others first is because it's easier to do so. It's easier to give to others, feel compassion for others, feel empathy for others, instead of giving it to yourself, because it's just easier than looking at yourself and looking where you need to go. It's easier to look at other people and say they need to work on this, they need to work on that, they're this person, they're that person. It's much easier to do that than it is to do yourself, because we don't want to admit our flaws or even our strengths. A lot of the times with my clients, I will get them to say 3 things they love about their best friend, their husband, their partner, whatever. 3 things that they love about them, and they find it really easy to do. But when you ask them to write down 3 things that they love about themselves, there's always a pause, there's always a struggle, and they find it really difficult, because when you ask someone to look at themselves, it is a really tough thing to do, because we don't want to do that. We've avoided this for such a long time, right? This is why a lot of people who give and give to others get sick. It's because they're giving nothing to themselves and giving it out to everybody else. So, if you've listened to my other podcasts or my live videos on social media, you'll know that I talk about the balance of giving and receiving energy. And if you are a give kind of person, you're really not going to receive. So that's this total imbalance. Every area of our life needs to have balance, whether it's masculine and feminine, giving and receiving. We need that balance. Sometimes we give more and sometimes we receive more. Sometimes we're more in our masculine, sometimes we're more in our feminine. Balance looks different for everybody, but you cannot have 100% giving to people and 0% receiving. And this is why, like I said, people who give and give and give get sick. I can guarantee you 100% of my clients are giving people because they're giving so much to others and they're not receiving. And that's receiving for themselves, receiving the care that they need and giving that love and kindness to themselves to be able to say, right, this is what I need to do. I'm going to put myself first. These people also have trouble saying no. So when somebody comes to them and says, can you help me with this? Can you take me here? Can you do this for me? They struggle to say no because they feel like they've got to say yes and please everybody, but they're not pleasing themselves. They're not saying yes to themselves. One of the most powerful sentences is no, which I learned from Lana Jackson last week. One of the most powerful things you can say is no. It's a complete sentence. If it doesn't serve you, whatever it is, or that person doesn't serve you, saying no is absolutely fine. If that person has an issue with it, that's up to them. It's not up to you to please them. It's up to you to please yourself and put you first. And if you're sick, putting other people first is only going to make you worse. So when you put yourself last, then the healing's going to come last, right? So self-love is critical to our overall well-being. It's important to recognize that saying no is just as powerful as saying yes. It's more important to your healing to saying no, right? So when you become sick, you're still saying yes. You're not giving yourself any power. You're not giving yourself any energy. It's a really low vibrational aspect in your life. It's more important when you become sick, you lack that compassion for yourself and you are not going to rest. Rest is one of the most productive things that you can do for your health. It's not lazy, it's not unproductive, it's extremely productive because when you rest, this is when your body starts to heal. When you're running around crazy, doing things for other people, your body's in fight or flight. It's a stress response. Your body is, you're building too much cortisol, too much adrenaline. When you rest, that is when all that calms down. So it's really, really important to say, you know what, I don't have the energy for this right now. I need to rest. I need to give to myself. When you do that, that's one of the most powerful things that you can do for your healing. When somebody says to you, can I help you? And you say yes, that is extremely important. That's receiving. A lot of us think, no, I've got to do this myself. I did it myself. My mum used to ask me all the time, I'll take the kids for you. I'll do this. I'll do that. No, I got it. I'm fine. I can do it because I wanted to. It was just a stress response, keeping busy. I always thought that rest was lazy. Always. I've always thought that. And it's taken me a long time to realize that if I'm not feeling well or I'm tired or I didn't sleep well the night before, it is super important to not put in 1,000% effort the next day. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with slowing down and taking the time for yourself. Or if, say you're going out with friends and you didn't sleep the night before and you wake up and you think, I just don't have the energy for this. That is time where you can say, you know what, guys, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. And if they're your good friends, they will understand that you're not feeling well and you can't make it. If they get annoyed with you, that's on them. They're not showing you any compassion, but you need to show you compassion, right? So this giving and receiving energy that I'm talking about all the time is extremely important. Start to really dive into this energy because it's so important for the self-love aspect because it's you receiving and you giving to yourself. Can't keep giving to everybody else and receiving nothing from everybody else. Giving and receiving comes from everywhere. Giving to yourself, receiving for yourself, giving to others, receiving from others. That's what's important. So start to look at the balance of where you are there. And it takes time to work on it. It takes time to fall into that. and to feel comfortable saying no, or to feel comfortable setting boundaries. Boundaries are really important to self-love. If you're allowing people to walk all over you or to use you constantly to help them with things, like I know we all want to help people, but who's going to help you? So if you're not setting these boundaries, you're not showing yourself that compassion, and it is a low form of self-esteem and self-love. Showing yourself that form of self-love is super important, because boundaries are what is going to help you heal, because you're going to start giving more to yourself, taking the time for yourself, and you're not going to be stressed. When you don't set boundaries and you allow people to treat you in a certain way, you're going to be stressed, right? You're going to feel like crap because someone's treating you like shit, and you're thinking, why me? Why do these people treat me like shit? You're showing those people how to treat you by not setting boundaries. And when you do start to set boundaries, they'll probably be pissed off with you. And that's on them. That's their problem. Let them be pissed off. They will get it in the long run, what you're trying to do. They will understand. If they don't, they're not your people. It is really important to look at the people in your life, your support network, who understands what you're going through. A lot of the time when you're sick, nobody understands. Nobody gets how you feel. If you don't look a certain way, or, you've just gained some weight, people just think, oh, she's lazy, or she's not exercising anymore, or she's eating rubbish, or she's, needs to go on a diet. They don't understand what's going on in your body, and that's okay. If they don't understand, too bad. You don't need to make them understand. You just need to know that you're setting a boundary to allow your body to get to where it needs to go. Because boundaries are where it all starts. When you're saying no, when you're teaching people how to treat you for a change, and not accepting their bad behavior, not accepting, you don't have to argue with them. People who think they're right or want to argue with you or want to treat you like shit, arguing with them, it's a no-win situation. So just cut it off. It's time to just say no and cut it off. Go, I'm not arguing with you. I don't care. I'm doing me. Setting those boundaries is so important to reducing your stress levels, getting yourself out of that fight or flight mode, and starting to show yourself you are the most important person in my life. And you are your most important person, because it's like I always talk about with my clients, when you're on a flight and you've got the air hostess is giving you the demonstration on what happens if the plane goes down, and all the air masks, they drop down from the ceiling, and they will tell you, fix your mask first before you help anybody else, because you can't help anybody if you can't breathe, right? It's the same in healing. You can't help people the way you want to help people, or you can't be there for people, or you can't love people the way you should or could if you aren't giving to yourself first, if you're not healthy, if your mental health is not good, your emotional health isn't good, your physical health is lacking. If you don't have all those aspects aligned, how are you going to help other people? You're not actually helping them when you think you are a lot of the time. So giving to yourself first and foremost is going to help you be able to be there in a more positive way for other people, and the people who deserve your help and who have given to you and who understand where you are in your journey. I have amazing friends, and if I said to them, oh, I don't feel well, I'm not coming out, or, I don't like the way you said this, or whatever, they'd be completely understanding. I choose those people in my life because they're like that. When you are choosing negative, toxic people to stay in your life because you've known them for a certain amount of time, or they're your cousin, or they're your auntie, or whatever, then you're not setting the boundaries, you're allowing this negative energy, you're lowering your vibration, and you're not showing yourself that love. Like, you know what? I deserve good people in my life. I deserve happiness. I deserve people who cheer me on and are proud of me and who think I'm amazing. That's what's important. That's where you get your support from. Self-love is just showing yourself that compassion, investing in yourself to feel worthy of paying people or paying for whatever it is that you need to get the help that you require to heal. A lot of the time, people are like, how much is this? I can't spend that. Spending is a really negative word. I always use invest. If you listen to our podcast, mine and Lana's podcast last week, you'll hear a lot about this. Investing in yourself is very important. It's a high vibrational energy. And if you are going to look at, I can't spend the money on getting a health coach because, you know, it's costing me and I need the money for XYZ. There are people at home who are spending money on Netflix and they've got 5 different streaming devices and they've got the brand new iPhone and they've got, all these. They've got all these things that are not going to help them in their healing journey. Like if your TV broke tomorrow, you'd find the money for it, right? But you can't find the money to invest in yourself for a health coach or the right treatment that you need. Now, investment in yourself is extremely important. I see people who they're picking the cheapest supplement and hoping it's going to change their life. And then they get another cheap supplement or they get another cheap cleanse program, anything that's going to save them a buck, but then they're doing that 500 times and they've just spent 10 times more than what a health coach or, for example, I'm only saying health coach because of that's what I do. Any form of somebody who's going to help you, you would rather go and spend money on something that's not going to work and it's completely cheap. You need to start looking at what's going to help you create new lifestyle habits to change your life physically, mentally, and emotionally, and not just think that a pill from the local pharmacy is going to change anything. It's not. Investing in yourself, using your intuition, and getting the right help and support is investing in yourself and is giving to yourself. It's allowing yourself to start to heal. And you will spend a lot less money by that one investment because that person who works with people every single day, who can pinpoint where you're missing something, or, there are a lot of people who have done a lot of healing themselves, but they still can't quite get there. And it's because you can't see everything about yourself. You can't see where you're missing. You're not the expert. You haven't been there. You haven't, this is just a new journey for you. You're not working with other people every day. So when you invest in an expert, they're working with people all the time in the same boat as you. So they're going to have more skills than you. They're going to have more knowledge than you. They're going to see what's going on with you before you will, because they've seen it before. So why would you go and waste your money on cheap and nasty things? If you get a cleanse program, right, that is 6 weeks, and this person goes, I'm going to sell you this cleanse program. Here it is. And that's it. You don't get the support from them. You can't ask them questions. Or maybe they put you in a Facebook group and you ask all the people in there, hey, what do I do for this? All the people in there are in the same boat as you. You're sick. They're sick. Why would you want to be in a Facebook group asking people who are struggling themselves, how do I do this? What does this mean? What happens on this cleanse? Maybe a moderator of the Facebook group would help you. Not really the person who actually sold you the cleanse. Very rarely will that happen. The person who sold you the cleanse will answer your questions. So investing in something like that is also not giving to yourself. It's you looking at the cheapest way you can get out of this, when in fact, it's costing you more money in the long run. Get somebody who is going to support you through the process, who you can contact and say, hey, I don't know, like if I'm going in the right direction, or this program that we're doing together, I need to ask you questions about it. Get somebody who's going to answer it for you, because they're the ones that work with you. They're the ones that you told your whole history to, your health, who understand your health, and they're the ones with all the knowledge and facts. So they're the people who you want to get to answer your questions, right? This is where you're investing your money, and it's super. It's going to cost you so much less money in the long run. So that is you investing in yourself. You're not investing in yourself when you are getting a cheap supplement. because it's probably toxic half the time anyway. So not being in victim mode. When you're in victim mode, you're not loving yourself at all. Why is it me that got sick? How did this happen to me? Why do people treat me like this? Why me? Why me? That's victim mode. When you can't look at why, the why of what you're asking, and that take some accountability and responsibility. Why did you get sick? Well, how many toxic products have you used in your life? How many pharmaceuticals have you used in your life? How many times have you chosen bad food over good food? How many boundaries have you set in your life? How do you allow people to treat you? These are all the things that you should be asking yourself instead of, why did I get sick? Why me? Why do I feel this way? Looking at the actual reasons instead of just feeling sorry for yourself is actually a better form of self-love. Self-love is you trying to pinpoint why you got sick in the long run. Like you looking at, okay, over my lifetime, this is what's happened and I'm not doing that now. I'm not giving to myself. I'm not receiving. Those are the things that you need to be looking at in order to love yourself properly. Then we have the self-critical thoughts, which compound stress and raises cortisol, right? So stress, thinking negatively about yourself, having high expectations of yourself, striving for perfection. Nobody's perfect. You can't achieve perfection, but we keep on climbing that ladder of perfection to see if we can reach the top. There's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with not getting it right because you learn more from your failures than you do from your triumphs. When you win something, you do learn, but when you fail, you're like, I'm never going to do that again. I learned from every single person that I invested in, every single thing that I did through my healing, I learned something. And if I had a terrible, terrible experience with a woman and a man. They were a couple who I bought a program off and they just left me. Once that didn't work, they just left me, cut me off, blocked me because it was like, oh, well, we can't help her. But they didn't give me the right thing that I needed for my body. And they're not experts in their field. They think they are, but they're not. So them cutting me off, I was left like, oh my God, what happened? But I learned a lot from that, to never do any of the things that they told me again. So, some of those things a lot of people talk about when you go on YouTube or when you're doing your research to learn, some of the things that they talk about, a lot of people are saying you should do for your health. And then I realized, you know what? I am never going to do those things again because I ended up so sick. I gained so much weight. I felt awful after this. However, I think it was like 4 or 5 months of doing this stuff with these people, and I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then for them just to go bye at the end of it, that is not a health coach. That is not an expert. That is not somebody who wants you to get better or win or doesn't have your health as a priority for them. When you feel that you're not good enough for other people, whether it be friendships, relationships, when you get those self-sabotaging thoughts of, I don't have anything to offer anybody, or you want to, you're single, for example, and you want to get in a relationship with someone, but you don't think that you're good enough. What kind of a person do you think you're going to attract if you don't think you're good enough? What quality do you think you're going to attract? You're going to accept anyone, especially if you don't have boundaries. And that's the same as in friendships. You're going to accept shitty friends, people who, don't show you the love that you deserve. So then how are you going to show yourself self-love? When you have too much empathy for others and not enough for yourself, that is a very low form of self-love. When you are showing other people like so much compassion, like there's nothing wrong with being empathetic. It's a beautiful trait. But when you are showing so much, when it's 100% for others, then where's the percentage for yourself? You've got to have empathy for yourself. You've got to have care for yourself. And that's a high form of self-love. 50-50, empathy for others, empathy for yourself. So compassion to others is the same thing. or having compassion for others, too much for others, not enough for yourself. You're not going to give to yourself. You're not going to invest in yourself. You're not going to set boundaries. All the things I've just spoken about. Not having compassion for yourself, not feeling good enough for others, and too much empathy for others, too much compassion for others. You need that balance. Everything in life, especially towards your healing, is balance. You need to balance everything out. We cannot always be in the red for ourselves. Comparison to others is also huge. If you're always constantly comparing yourself to what they have, what they do, what they look like, you are a unique individual, and there is only one of you on the planet. There is no one else like you. And that is perfect for you, your characteristics, your looks, all of those things. Comparing to other people is just going to drain you. Comparison is the thief of joy. So comparing yourself to others all the time, how are you ever going to be happy? Because you're never going to be enough. You're never going to have enough. You're never going to do enough. When you look at yourself and go and show yourself some gratitude, like, I am so grateful that I am learning how to heal. I am so grateful that I have these skills. I am so grateful for the beautiful people in my life. Looking at what you do have instead of what you don't have is so much more powerful. And gratitude is one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself and show yourself. Like, at night when I go to bed, I will say a couple of things that I'm grateful for. Put it out there to the universe. Show that gratitude. I'm always doing that. We have a gratitude diary in this house, and the kids and I have our own pages, and we write down something that we are grateful for at the time. And it can be absolutely anything. Don't keep repeating yourself in the diary like, oh, I'm so grateful for my family. Find something else. Make sure you find some about yourself as well. Same as seeking external validation from others. You see a lot of people who have affairs. If you're in a relationship and you're seeking validation from others, that's because you're not loving yourself enough to realize what you've got in front of you. If you're not happy in your relationship, then leave it. It's the same with friendships, or you say you're single and you're constantly seeking someone to validate you. External validation is not important. It doesn't freaking matter what other people think of you, but what you think of yourself is more important. Showing yourself that love is way more important than getting it from somebody else, because at the end of the day, someone might think you're amazing today, and next week they think you're shit. So you've got this external validation, and you're like, wow, this person makes me feel amazing. But if you don't love yourself enough, then they can fall out of love with you too. So seeking external validation is very low vibration. Self-sabotaging behaviors with relationships. It's like that's what the seeking external validation is as well. Self-sabotage, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's food, choosing the wrong foods, or constantly eating crap because you feel like shit. Alcohol, drugs, overspending. A lot of these are self-sabotaging behaviors. Or when you get in a friendship and you you have this really good friend, and then you think, well, they're not going to like me. They're going to get the shits with me eventually and run off, or they're going to stop being my friends, or you create arguments with them, or you create arguments with your new partner. These are self-sabotaging behaviors because you think they're going to leave you anyway, so you might as well push them away first. Very low form of self-love. And sometimes, you might have self-sabotaging behaviors go through your head, but when you are aware of it and you can pull yourself back and go, no, I'm doing this because I'm pushing this person away. That is you recognizing where you're at, and that's amazing. It's your growth, and that's a very powerful thing for you. So how can you practice self-love? It's not that easy, because it's like you looking within yourself. Like I said before, when you have to look at yourself, when you have to look at your characteristics, your personality, all of those things. It's really, really difficult because we don't want to admit sometimes that we do these things. But it is so powerful. And you don't have to dive right in and do everything tomorrow, but just, drip feed yourself these versions of self-love. So investing in yourself is one thing. We talked about that. Invest in yourself. Give yourself the best chance to feel better. And somebody will be able to point out to you all of these things. So it's easier to be able to get somebody to help you who knows what they're doing than you trying to fumble way through it for years and spending a fortune, right? Take time for yourself and do something for yourself that you truly love. Have a hobby, have, just something for you that is your time. Give to yourself that nobody else, that, do it for yourself when nobody else needs you. Nobody else has to be involved in it. You don't have to do it with your partner. It can be something that you can just do for yourself to give you joy and fulfillment. Accept and fish for compliments. When somebody says to you, "You look lovely today," say thank you instead of going, "Oh, no, I don't." Or, or ask, "What do you think of this new dress?" Fish for compliments. Take those compliments and love on yourself and go, I do feel really good today. Or look at yourself as when somebody says you've done so well in your healing, go, "Yeah, I know I have. I've worked really hard. Thank you." Thank you is really powerful as well. Start saying no to things and to people that don't serve you. People who no longer make you feel good, who no longer accept your boundaries. Start to say no. And you can cut those people out. Don't worry about it. If they're not going to make your life better or easier or happier, cut them out and set those boundaries. Set the boundaries for them. Set boundaries for yourself because you watch your energy get higher. You watch your vibration will raise so much, and you will start to feel so much better about yourself. And it'd be like a weight coming off your shoulders. I know when I separated from my husband, it felt like a lead suit had been taken off my body. That energy just left and it changed so much. I wasn't as about me. I wasn't as irritable. I wasn't as tired. I wanted to do more things for myself. I started to do things for myself. I started saying no to my kids. I gave and gave and gave everything to my kids because there was nothing in my relationship. So I put so much time and energy into my kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, you can say no to your kids too. So I had to set boundaries for them as well and start going, you know what? It's my time. And when you go to your dad's, this is time for me because I get 2 days a fortnight to do something for myself. And that's okay. I had to stop feeling guilty for that. Create new healthy habits, whether it be, you go and do some grounding outside, whether you're doing your breathing exercises. It might be that you have an apple every single day. Whatever it is, do one thing at a time. Don't go, "I'm going to do 40 things this week," because you won't do 40 things next week. Do one and make that a habit. Create that habit, whether it be, let's say it's having an apple a day. Say you don't eat fruit, but I'm going to eat this one apple every single day. Create that habit because you'll just start reaching for that apple and you'll enjoy it. And it'll be something that you do. Then do the next thing. I'm going to do my breathing exercises. I might do them 3 times a week. I'm going to commit to doing that. And that becomes a habit. And you just start to do them. And you go, all right, it's time to do that. That's really important. And stick with it. Be kind to yourself. Show yourself compassion. It's okay to fail. It's not a sign of weakness. It's learning. When you do fail, it's like, you know what? I learned something. Pick myself back up and off I go again. There's nothing wrong with failing. Positive self-talk and affirmations. I'm really big on this. Stop telling yourself how shit you are, how shit you look, whatever it is. Start telling yourself, "I feel really good today. I'm grateful that I'm healing. I'm grateful that I'm on this journey. I know where I need to be." When you have started healing and you are starting to feel better, look at how far you've come instead of how far you've got to go. That was a really important statement that I had from my friend Lana when I was healing. She's like, "Stop looking at how far you've got to go and look at how far you've come." That was really important. Look, thinking about yourself in a more positive aspect and talking about yourself positively. Even when you're joking about yourself, to people. Oh, oh God, I've got to lose 20 kilos. Don't do that. If you lose something, you might find it again. We're not losing anything. What we're talking about is, I'm going to be healthier. Instead of going, oh my God, I've gained so much weight. I'm going to be healthier. I'm learning to be healthier. I'm on a healing journey. I'm starting to feel better. All these things, way more positive talk. Take out the negative talk. When it comes into your mind, turn it back around and send it straight back out. Write down things that you love about yourself, not just your characteristics. Like, I love that I'm, a good person, or I'm compassionate, or I'm empathetic. I want to see some things about your looks, some traits and looks. I have beautiful eyes. I love my smile. I love my hair. I have, whatever it is, my beautiful long legs. I wish I had long legs. I don't. But, just some of these things. Find something about yourself and make sure it's something about your looks as well, because we never look at our looks and go, oh, wow, I'm stunning. Or when you don't love yourself, you can't even look at yourself in the mirror. So that is another thing. Look at yourself in the mirror. I found this so triggering, and I know so many of my clients do too. I used to get so triggered by just looking at myself in the mirror because I looked like shit. I felt like shit. So why would I want to look at myself? But when I started to do this, things started to get better. And I did start to look at things that were nice about myself. And I did start to appreciate my looks a little bit more, because I didn't think that I looked good. I've even before I got sick and I was really little and going to the gym and everything, I never appreciated how I looked. I always found something wrong. Now I look at things and I'm so much more appreciative of how I look. So look yourself in the mirror and say, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. It's extremely difficult, but just try it, please. And show gratitude for your body. Show gratitude for your health. You might not be feeling good right now, but you're still alive. So you can still work from here. Show yourself that love and gratitude. I am so grateful that I am still here. I'm so grateful that I'm healing. I'm so grateful that I have found Naomi's podcast to help me get through this journey. I am so grateful that I have supportive people around me. But show gratitude to yourself and to your body. And once you start, that just raises your vibration. You'll feel the energy raise, and you'll find that you'll start to look for positive things within yourself. So self-love is not about hot baths and massages, although they are a great aspect that please do them. But start to look more within, not as much as the self-care. We want the self-care. We need the self-care. Do some beautiful things for yourself. Find the things that you love, but also look within. Look at your traits. Look at how you respond and react to people. If you're triggered by everything, that's your problem, not other people's. If people are being assholes and you're triggered all the time, well, that's your fault, because you are around those people. I know we work in different environments. We have to be around certain people. I'm not saying, cut all the assholes out of your life, but you choose how you respond to them. If you want to fight back all the time and get angry and walk around miserable, that's only going to affect you. It doesn't affect them. If you want to fight with like, for example, your ex, and you want to always worry about how they treated you, and they treated me like shit, and blah, blah, blah. You allowed them to treat you like that because you didn't have boundaries. You stayed with them. But also, how you think about it is your problem as well. Nobody forces you to do that. When you are trying to constantly, you've got this resentment, or you're trying to constantly pay them back for something, like, oh, they did this to me, so I'm going to do this to them. It only affects you. It only affects your energy. You watch your vibration raise when you just don't give a shit anymore. When you stop going, some people have to be in your life. If you've got kids with them, some exes have to be in your life. So you're going to have to learn to accept that and stop putting that negativity out and that low vibration. How you react and respond to everybody in your environment is on you. We can't always change it. We can't always do anything about it. But if you are going to constantly be triggered, then you need to look at why. So I hope you have learned something from this. If you have, please follow this podcast, share it with as many people as you can. Self-love is an extremely important topic that so many of us lack. Hopefully somebody has got something out of this, and you can share it with people to make them be aware of where they are in their own self-love journey. So please stay with me for my next episode. I haven't come up with one yet, but I will be sure to put it out there so you know what's coming up next.